Welcome back everybody. Quick video this week. I just felt like I wanted to do a little video about Ridge Racer that got released on Arcade Archives a couple of weeks ago. This is awesome, I've got to say. I was really excited about this as soon as it was sort of released that it was going to be available in the upcoming weeks, and it was actually available the day the Switch 2 got released, if I remember rightly, and it's the first one of the so-called Arcade Archives 2, which the only kind of downside is they are more expensive than the original Arcade Archives, which were, was it $6.99? This one is, I think, £14, if I remember rightly, if you download the sort of PS5 or Switch 2 version, and I think it's a couple of pounds cheaper if you download the PS4 or original Switch version. God knows why that is. It's just obviously new console premium tax, I'm guessing. However, that said, yes, it's more money than the original Arcade Archives releases, but it's obviously a big step up in sort of generational sort of quality of games, if you like, in the fact that this is obviously a much sort of later 90s style 3D polygon game, whereas the original Archives games were all predominantly sort of more 80s based 2D games. So I'm assuming and hoping there's going to be more of these going forwards. I mean, it would be epic if we could have other Namco games, races in my case particularly. I mean, stuff like Time Crisis would be brilliant, but without the gun, it's not the same, is it? But, you know, now that they've done this, I'm hoping, you know, everything's crossed, that they might do some Sega sort of Model 1, 2, 3 sort of races. That would be epic. So, you know, hopefully, come on, please, let's have some of them. Particularly, I would love Scud Race personally. Scud Race, Daytona 2, stuff that has never been released before would be tremendous. However, back to Ridge Racer. That's kind of what this is about. Ironically, going back to last week's video, when I was sort of saying that I wasn't intending buying a Switch 2, case in point is Ridge Racer, because prior to going to the town earlier in the morning, like quite early in the morning, the day I knew this was available, I'd looked on my existing Switch and it was showing, you could see it, but it was saying it was only available on the Switch 2. And I thought, that's annoying. You know, I was led to believe it was going to be on the Switch as well. So I then looked on the PS4 and it was on there. So I downloaded it on the PS4 and I was playing it. I played it for a good hour or two, you know, like I say, early morning before I went out. And I thought, this is great, I'm loving this. And as I say, I think it was $11.99 on the PS4 and $13.99 on a PS5 if you got one. I haven't, but nevertheless, I bought this on the PS4, and it, like I say, great, brilliant, really like it. Then I ended up buying this this Switch 2 and realising, you know, I perhaps should have waited, but I didn't know at the time, so it was, you know, I couldn't do anything about it. So I then re-bought it on the Switch 2, so I've never bought it twice, unfortunately, but it is what it is. I felt like I wanted it on the Switch 2 because I could take benefit of this sort of better screen, and, you know, I can also take it handheld should I want to. But anyway, back to the game. Fantastic game, Ridge Racer. Absolutely love it. All the sequels generally are great, but this is where it all started. 93 was it, I think, something like that. I remember playing that awesome sort of full-size Mazda MX-5 cab in Blackpool back in the day. I mean, that was something else. However, this is brilliant, I've got to say. I mean, the PS1 version has always been sort of fantastic. Loved it. You know, I bought a PS1 to play it, and paid silly money for it, and loved. You know, it was a fantastic conversion. But this kind of does show you that, you know, the PS1 version had its limitations, because when you put it next to this looks a hell of a lot nicer. I would say it plays slightly differently. I think this is... The PS1 seemed easier than this did when I first tried it. That the controls seemed a little bit different to the PS1 version, but I soon got used to it. And this now plays just as well as I remember the PS1 playing. Though, like I say, it is different, I think, slightly. But I'm fully used to it now, and it plays equally fantastically. It's kind of obviously been modernised in certain ways, because in addition to the original game, you've got you've got the standard original game. You've also got two versions of the game, regular and DX, and I believe DX is just to incorporate shifter functionality if you've got one. I've not looked into that. I'm not interested. And then there's also the like you get with these archives games, you get the Japanese version or the sort of English language version, and you can choose between the two, and you can play the regular game. And obviously you've got the standard tracks. It's more or less one track, but you've got sort of novice mode, where the car's slower, and the short course, and then you've got intermediate mode, which is the short course with the faster car. And then you've got the sort of expert mode, if you like, which is the longer course with a faster car. That one's quite a bit more tricky. I haven't managed to win that one yet. I've won the novice and the intermediate, and then there's also a time trial mode should you want to do that. But what really I found quite additionally beneficial about this is and when I first sort of downloaded it, I wasn't interested. But there's something called the high score mode and a caravan mode, and I thought, oh, how the hell is that going to work on a driving game? I mean, you see that on shmups generally. So, and I didn't play that for the first sort of few times I played it. I didn't even try them. I then tried the high score mode, and it's really quite sort of addictive. Basically you do one race, and then there's like an online leaderboard, and it's the fastest time basically. And I don't know how they've got them times, the fastest ones that are currently on the leaderboard. I can't get anywhere near them. They seem ridiculously fast. So I don't know if there's some skullduggery going on there, but nevertheless, it's a really nice mode. But then the caravan mode, I think, is even better. That, as you get with a caravan mode game, you get a time limit of 5 minutes, and you've basically got to do as many laps as you can within that 5 minutes. And all the time the car's moving, there's like a counter, like a distance counter running. And basically, the leaderboard is sort of the distance achieved in 5 minutes. And so you've obviously got to try and not make mistakes, and then obviously you'll get more distance. Again, I'm nowhere near the top of the leaderboard yet, but I do find that mode particularly really exciting, and sort of it's a bit different, and something I wasn't anticipating when I downloaded Bridge Racer, but it's there and you might enjoy it, I think. But overall, what a package, I've got to say. Fantastic. It's always been a fantastic game. So to have the arcade version, literally, with the, obviously I haven't got the cabinet, but essentially to have the arcade version at home, absolutely brilliant. And from my point of view, and if you like racing games like I do, it's the best £15 you can possibly spend, really, until like Outrun comes out or something. Well, I don't need Outrun to come out. You can play that. It's all these extra Sega games that I want to come out that have never been released. But this is brilliant, I've got to say. If you like racing games, I thoroughly recommend this on wherever you can play it on. Switch 2, PS4 or PS5, or I presume it's on the Xbox. I don't know. Actually, yes it is, because I was going to try, I might even buy it for a third time on the Xbox, because if it worked with the steering wheel, I could then play Ridge Racer on my cab, and that then would be like having the arcade game. So that's something I'm going to look into next. So fingers crossed it works with the steering wheel, and I'll be able to play it in my driving cab. But anyway, Ridge Racer on the Arcade Archives 2, massive thumbs up in my opinion. If you're partially interested in it and you like racers, definitely check it out. It's fantastic.
I got everything on camera, so you'll watch it later, huh? You're the greatest. Yeah! It's a